Legends, welcome to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting close to the end of Season 1 and Buffy the Vampire Slayer here with a review of the episode Out of Mind, Out of Sight. This one here. I love it. There's an ending to this that is just beautifully done. And let's get into it. I hope you enjoy the review. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, again, the last review we did, I said it was probably one of the strongest episodes of the series. Not as true of this episode, but it is one that, since I watched it, the ending of it stuck in my head. That's a new word for you. Let me just fix this camera. Yes, this one is episode 11. It's called Out of Mind, Out of Sight. And the end of this episode, as I say, is just something that has stuck with me over the years. It's sort of one of these endings that's like, boom. Basically in this episode, the May Queen dance is coming up. Again, I'm looking down at my notes a lot. It's been a while since I took these notes down, and a while since I actually watched the episode properly, so I kind of just need to keep myself refreshed on the notes on the tablet. Again, I'm not using the teleprompter at the minute. Cordelia is hoping to be crowned queen along with her boyfriend Mitch as the king. The open focuses on Cordy's selfish personality and her nasty side towards people, while she's trying to, get people to vote for her. She's just not treating anybody with any respect whatsoever. Her boyfriend Mitch is attacked by something invisible in the locker rooms and given a severe beating by a baseball bat. You just see the bat lifting on its own, and then there's no one there holding the bat, but the bat goes to town, beats him with it. We follow Cordelia and her friend Harmony as they're talking about what happened. Cordy, she's only worried about how bad Mitch is going to look in their dance photographs, of course, just completely superficial. That is pretty much Cordelia over and over in season 1. It is a own thing with Cordelia's character, but I will say now, and I've maybe said it before in some of the Buffy reviews, eventually Cordelia becomes one of my favourite characters in this series, and of course the spin-off Angel. We then see a couple of flashback sequences that are a point of view of a girl trying to talk to Cordy, who just puts her down, shuts her down, goes back to whatever other conversation she's having. You don't see who this girl is. It's just, point of view from her trying to fit in, and again, just been put down. Buffy tries to track down the girl. Basically the idea is that there's a girl that attended Sunnydale High that was ignored so much by everyone that she felt like she was invisible, and as the high school is in the Hellmouth, she actually, because of the supernatural energy from the Hellmouth, because she started to genuinely think she was invisible, she just one day became invisible. I think that's probably something we can all relate to in a way. Like back in high school, like if you were a giant geek like me, you weren't part of the in crowd, you were just kind of there, and a lot of times you did feel like you were invisible. So I can kind of relate to that myself. After a long absence from the series, Angel pays a visit to Giles in the library. Angel says he's got hold of a lost book of prophecies that tells about the Slayer's role in the last days. So that's kind of setting up for the next episode. A couple of men who look like Secret Service are seen in high school grounds. The gang kind of brush it off as maybe, they kind of joke it off as, maybe Cordelia has hired bodyguards to get herself elected as the queen of the dance. The girl, the invisible girl, she's identified as Marcy Ross. She tries to suffocate a teacher using a plastic bag, but Cordelia comes in, saves the teacher. As the teacher says she didn't see who attacked her, Cordy sees a piece of chalk float up and writes the word "listen" on the chalkboard in the background. Cordelia, freaked out, now turns to the only people that could possibly help: Buffy and the Scooby Gang. We do get to see a little bit of a glimpse of Cordelia's true character, as she says, she opens up and she says she can be completely surrounded by people, I still feel completely alone. So you kind of get that glimpse and the horror character that this is just more of an act to be popular more than anything else. The girl, Marcy, the invisible woman, has gone completely crazy. She lures Giles, Willow and Xander into the basement, locks them in, and has cut the gas line. She then kidnaps Cordelia, ties her up with the intent of slashing her face. As Buffy can't see Marcy gets the upper hand. Buffy comes to save Cordelia. Gets knocked out. Buffy ends up tied up with Cordy. Marcy prepares to mutilate Cordelia. Back in the basement, Giles, Willow and Xander are almost unconscious from the gas line. They can't get it turned off because the handle has been broken. They're saved by Angel, who's coming back with the book for Giles. Buffy gets free and has to use her heightened senses to listen for Marcy. She successfully knocks Marcy out. At this stage, the two Secret Service men from earlier on turn up. They're actually FBI agents, and they take Marcy away. At this stage, she's covered in a blanket, so you can actually see her form at the end of the episode. Cordelia actually takes time out to thank the Scooby Gang, showing her better side, her tender side, which is great to see. But when her boyfriend comes along, asks her why she's hanging out with these losers, she slips back into her old ways. She's just like, I'm hanging out with these idiots. The episode ends. Now, this is the bit stuck in my head. Stuck? Is that even a word? Stuck. That's stuck in my head. Excuse me. This is the bit that stuck with me ever since seeing this episode, because it's one of these endings where this character is going to go other places, but is she going to come back to the series or not? I can't recall if she ever did, but the episode ends with the FBI agents leading Marcy to a classroom. All of the seats appear empty. The teacher welcomes her to the class, and everyone's invisible in there. Marcy sits down, and of course you can't see her hands or anything. There's a book on the table. The book slides across, cover opens. Obviously she's doing it, but you can't see her hands or anything. She opens the book, and the book says assassination and infiltration. So the FBI have been searching out people with the power of invisibility to use as assassins. So that is where the episode finished off, and again, that's just one of those endings that was just as class. I really did enjoy that. That was so good. As a whole, the episode itself isn't a fantastic episode. It's not one of the strongest in the series, but it is necessary and character building for Cordelia in particular, because that's the first time you actually get to see this other side to her. So it's definitely, by all means, if you're watching the series, definitely watch this episode. Don't be skipping over this one. Throughout the series so far, there have been a couple of The Pack was a weak episode, along with this one. It wasn't a very strong episode either, but in saying that, there's a lot of stuff within the episode you kind of need to see for everything else to make sense. So, even if it's a standalone story, has nothing to do with the bigger picture. Like, there's usually a bigger story running through the entire series. And if an episode skips from that there to do that be like a standalone, don't let that put you off, because it will be a necessary episode in some way, shape or form. So that is it for this episode. This has been a production of Coins Edge Media. Check out my social media links in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening.